Assalamu alaikum. I just finished an interview with Asad Ahmad from BBC Radio London. I hope that you listen to the interview.
You're listening to Asad Ahmad on BBC Radio London. Now, it kicked off after the tragic killing of 3 young girls in Southport because of a knife attack. That was exactly 2 weeks ago today. To be clear, the rioting which followed it has nothing to do with the stabbings and deaths of those poor children. It was sparked by false rumours that the person arrested was a refugee. He isn't. There were false rumours that he's of the Muslim faith. He is not. But the truth, let's face it, wasn't going to get in the way of those wanting to riot. Well, 29 London Imams have issued a statement condemning the violence that followed that tragic attack. They tell people in their statement to avoid vigilantism and any escalation intentions. They also advise people to engage with the far-right perpetrators of violence with the aim of correcting false narratives. Some strong words there in this statement by the Imams. Well, one of the signatories to the statement is the highly respected Imam Sheikh Dr. Haitham Al Haddad, who joins me now. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for coming in.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. The pleasure is mine.
Jazakallah khairan. You're very clear in the statement about what you think of the riots that followed that tragic killing in Southport. And I will call them riots. I'm not going to call them protests, like I know some people have done. I think it's very clear they were riots.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I think people have been tiptoeing around the world. The words, it was a riot, in my opinion. But can you at least understand why people took to the streets in anger at immigration? Is that something you get?
Yeah. Well, see, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You know, they say in sociology that whenever there is any social phenomena, it is an outcome of an array of causes. It is not just one cause. And this is a big mistake to say, well, this social phenomena is because of this single reason. I think there are a number of reasons behind that. Well, by the way, I had a confrontation by one of those people, and he really pushed me, and my wife was next to me, and
Is this in the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, just 2 days ago. Yeah. And he was shouting F, 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 F. And when I confronted him, and he said, well, why are you confronting an idiot, psychotic person? So what I want to say is that there are a number of reasons. The deprivation some people are facing, even the social economical reasons are there, the political reasons are there. Now, when media outlet and some politicians are targeting Muslims and making the Muslim community as the scapegoat, and whatever happens, they immediately ask Muslims to condemn, or they are accusing of Muslims. So now this segment of the wider non-Muslim community who have been suffering from number of social political deprivations, they have been charged. So once they see any reason for them to take out what is in their chest against those targeted Muslims, against this community that has been alienated by some politicians, by some media outlets, then that will take place. So, for example, why didn't they, target the black community? Why didn't they target other communities? As you know, in the UK, there are so many communities, there are so many cultures, but they targeted immediately Muslims. And even in some of their statements, they said, we have no problem with Hindu, we have no problem with Sikh, we have no problem. Yep. They have said this.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
So why do they have a problem with the Muslim community? It seems that they have been charged against the Muslim community. And this leads me to a very important discussion. Polarization in any society is very dangerous. And really, as an imam, as an academic, as a thinker, as a Muslim leader, I need to work towards outrooting the sources or the causes of this polarization. But also we need the politicians, we need the media people to be responsible enough, and at least they should not target the Muslim community and make them as the scapegoat, and they should be sincere. Whenever they interview the Muslim community, whenever they talk about the Muslim community, they should not make the Muslim community as if they were the fifth column. Yeah. They are the enemies within. They are projected like this.
Okay, Sheikh, you've raised some really important points there, and I know our time is limited, but I do want to come back to those. But just before I pick up on a couple of things of what you said, one thing that really interested me about the statement, and one thing that you've come across in the last couple of days, like you say, when you were targeted yourself with your wife, you say people should try and engage with perpetrators who hold extreme views and maybe who've even engaged in the violence. How does your person on the street engage with someone like that when they've got such extreme hostile views?
Yeah, see, as Muslims, first of all, everyone knows that we are brave people. We are not cowards. And I always say that Muslims, because this is our nature, because we believe in God, we believe that whatever happens to us, it is the decree of Allah. And we have seen Muslims in Gaza and how they react. They have resilience, they have strength, despite all what is happening to them. They show patience and they show positive attitude. So I say Muslims, and in general, they should show positive attitude in terms of challenges. And if they think themselves as from that perspective, they will turn any challenge to opportunity to share the values of our deen, our Islam with everyone. And that's why we were trying to encourage the Muslim community, don't be afraid. You are confident of yourself, of what you believe in, of what you do, and therefore you need to come out and engage with everyone, including the people from the far right,
to show a positive side of them. Okay, Imam Sheikh Dr. Haitham Al Haddad, we're speaking about the rioting which happened over the last couple of weeks, and we're talking about engaging with people. What I want to play to you now, if you can listen to this and tell me how you would perhaps respond, is a caller who called my colleague Eddie Nestor on BBC Radio London a few days ago, and he didn't partake in the violence.
Yeah.
But he talks about how he understands what happened. Just have a listen to this.
I don't agree with what these people are doing, but I can understand. They've lit a fuse that's been waiting to be lit for a long time, and I don't think you're going to hear the end of this sort of stuff. This is going to happen more and more. If the government don't start listening to people and start putting money into Britain instead of putting it into people coming here illegally, and we pick people up off the beach, don't we? They come into the country illegally, they don't get put in prison, and this is what people have, I think, have had enough with. Going to my doctors, I've been with 50 odd years and now I can't get an appointment because when I sit in the waiting room now, I feel like I'm, the only person there that's speaking English.
Funny thing is that when I go to my doctors, they look like the sorts of people that you're talking about who are refugees. The actual doctor. When I go to the hospital, they look like the actual people you're talking about. When I go to my dentist, they look like the people that you're talking about. When I go to my pharmacist, they look like the people that you're talking about. It's quite interesting, this, isn't it?
Yeah, but they didn't all come up on the beach, though, did it, Eddie? They come over on an aeroplane legally, and they went to college, and they earned the position they're in.
That was John from Orpington speaking to my colleague Eddie Nestor on BBC Radio London. Basically, he's saying he doesn't agree with the violence, but like many people, he's angry at seeing people coming in illegally, come in on the beaches. He says he can't get a doctor's appointment, he has to wait. So their services are suffering as well. How would you engage with John from Orpington?
Okay, number of things. First of all, who said that the reason behind all of these things is the Muslim community? Number one. Yep. Number two, has we want those people like John and others to engage with the Muslim community. There are hundreds or thousands, maybe around 2,000 mosques in the whole of the UK, and they have opened their arms for the non-Muslim community to come and engage and discuss. MCB, normally they have a week, which is a week of engagement, where they encourage Muslims all over the country to open their arms for the such people. So the key thing is, for positive integration, we need both sides to have the will to engage with the other side. It is not just only one side. And here, to be honest with you, I don't blame John. I blame some media outlets. I'm so sorry to say this. I know I am in the BBC. And we blame also some politicians, because they presented us as I said to you, as the enemies from within. And they forgot about our contribution in terms of NHS, our contribution. Do they know that the Muslim community almost donate £500 million every single year? This is a charity. We are the number one charitable community in the UK.
And I know that statistic is from the Charity Commission. So what you say is correct, and we can say that's from the Charity Commission. But you blame politicians and the media, and that kind of started happening after 9/11, if we remember, go back. That's where things really changed in my memory for Muslims in the country. And you say things have to change now again with the media and politicians. How should that change? What's your advice to the media? What's your advice to politicians? What should they do?
Okay, number of things. First of all, they should not see Muslims as the others. This is very important. If you see them as the others, then psychologically, subconsciously, you will target them. This is number one. Number two, quickly, if we have our set of values, these values should not be targeted. We are not differentiating between two things. If we disagree ideologically, it doesn't mean that we necessarily should hate each other. And for integration, positive integration to take place, we don't need to have conformity. In order for us to be united, we don't need to agree 100% on ideologically on so many things. So, for example, if we know that the Muslim community, they disagree with the culture of drinking, we disagree with so many sexual related activities, it doesn't mean that we are the fifth column, because ideologically we disagree with these practices. The third point, they should engage with positive debates with the representatives, the Imams, the academics within the Muslim community. And when we debate, we should debate honestly on honest ground, not forcing them to accept a certain ideology.
Now that's a really important point you make, because what some people would say, and certainly I've heard some right-wing activists say this, and it's this thing of what Muslims might think of as a debate. They feel as if they're pushing their opinion and saying, no, this country has to be like this, people have to be like, and they're almost forcing the Muslim viewpoint on others. And that surely can't happen.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And if I have done this, for example, as an imam before, I made a mistake. If any imam is doing this, is a mistake. And we should be brave enough as imams, as scholars, etc., to admit, to acknowledge our mistakes. But that doesn't mean that we should not continue in having honest debates, open debates. I don't push my view on you, you don't push my view on me. Let us find a formula, all of us, thinkers from all communities, that diversity should be a source of prosperity. This is the challenge. Because, see, you like it, you don't like it, we live in a multicultural society, yes? And I know that so many people disagree with that, but it is happening.
It is.
You know, go to London. When I came now by public transportation, everyone, they belong to different cultures, etc.
And it's wonderful.
So this should be a source of prosperity, this diversity. How does that happen? With respect. Respect doesn't mean uniformity in ideology. No, we can agree on so many things, and let us debate to choose the best idea, the best ideology that that brings prosperity to our society.
Yeah.
This is a very important point. This is the third one. We need also the fourth point. We need really projects where we engage in according to common grounds. See, that's why many Muslims have the food bank project, especially after the COVID. Many Muslims, they have a program. We have a program called Know Your Neighbor, where the mosques are visiting the neighbors and trying to provide help to the neighbors. I really want to mention the experience of Imam Adam, the Imam of Quilliam, Quilliam Mosque.
That's right.
And this is a positive integration where they cooked food and they presented it
They gave it to protesters. Let me just tell people that they gave burgers to the people who were protesting against the mosque. They went out on a train.
And this shows that we Muslims are confident. We are not afraid of anyone. We are not afraid of any debate. But give us the opportunity to present ourselves as we are, to present our ideas, our ideology, our belief.
A really important point there made by you, Imam Sheikh Dr. Haitham Al Haddad, about how we should allow people to have differences but also engage in debate. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
بأنك تقبلني يا كريم